So I grew up in a non-Christian home. My parents didn't go to church. My brother didn't go to church. So at this point in my life, I didn't even know who God was. I grew up with alcoholism in my family, so it was kind of a chaos time where everything was always up and down and didn't know what was going on. One of the big things that happened to me was I was molested when I was 8. So it kind of set my life on a road of kind of being broken. I was feeling like alone and betrayed and that I didn't matter. So because of the trauma, I became really shy around most people, didn't talk a lot. When I was at home, I tried to stay low-key and just out of the way. And then when I was 11, I found pornography for the first time, and it was something that I didn't know what it was, but I was curious, but also confused. And then that started a 17-year addiction with pornography. So it just started out as just looking at magazines and pictures, not really knowing that I shouldn't be looking at it, and then kind of just progressed into like reading novels and romance and stuff, and then it just kind of kept progressing into videos. Like it was a progression of starting out something really simple, but then getting kind of out of control and not being able to function in life, missing out on things and just isolating. When I started going to church for the very first time when I was 19, my sister-in-law and her dad invited me to church on an Easter Sunday. I remember being there and having no clue what was going on, but I knew that I wanted to know more. I started attending FCA at Ashland University, and I came to accept Christ when I was 20 at FCA one night. And then from there on, I was still addicted, still knowing that it was wrong now, but still not being able to stop, and knowing that I felt like the only person and that I couldn't share with anybody. And that, I kind of just isolated and didn't tell anybody for a very long time. I felt very alone because I didn't know of any women that fought with pornography. I always thought of it as a man's addiction, and that what I was going through was not normal and that nobody else would understand, and so therefore I couldn't tell anybody. So from the time I accepted Christ, it was about 8 years. And I was just kind of growing slowly in my faith. So one of my friends from church invited me to go on the Emmaus Walk. It's a 4-day event that's kind of like a retreat weekend. And you kind of just go in, no electronics, no nothing. And you're just with Jesus for 4 days. I had prayed a lot to be delivered from this addiction. And when I went on the Emmaus Walk, I prayed that God would take my heart and do whatever He wanted to while I was there. I was kind of at a point in life where I really needed something to change. That was kind of my lowest point in the addiction. They had opened the altar, and somehow I found myself at the foot of the altar, on my hands and knees, and literally on my face sobbing, because I knew that what I was doing was keeping me from God. And I wanted to be a lot closer to Him, and I didn't want to struggle with the addiction anymore. And it was just kind of like God was talking to me, and I was just pouring out everything I was feeling, and then God just kind of like taking rocks out of my backpack and making it a lot lighter. And when I was all done, like I was able to stand up and breathe, and I felt a whole bunch lighter. So I've been free from my addiction for 10 years now. I didn't have no desire after that to look at pornography. It's an amazing thing to be free and not even to think about it or want to do it. Didn't feel like I had to hide myself anymore, so I was able to be more getting together with people, and it just opened up a big space for me to be able to fill that with God instead of with my addiction. I just want women to know that they're not alone in whatever they're struggling with, and that there's other women out there that can help them, and you don't have to be ashamed to ask for help, and that there are women that can understand. So it doesn't matter what you're going through or how deep your pain may be, God is still in the midst of that, and God will bring people alongside of you to help you continue to move on your journey.